city bitch, trip city bitch. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. Yeah. Trip city bitch, yeah, I'm coming on the clip. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. 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 Happy Halloween! It's Trip City. Welcome back to Opinions Nobody Asked For or Cared About. I'm your host, trippy.grimm. We got a lot to talk about today because we're coming to a close with the election. Sandwiched in between two holidays. Perfect. Amazing. A lot going on. See a lot of people putting their entire soul into this election. It is not that important. By now, you've probably seen that Donald Trump they've called the race. He won. We've had an influx of left-leaning people who having very emotional reactions from what the hell? Shaving their head.
Short hair we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're cutting it off because you. That's why. You think I'm crazy? Me too. Crazy. Just like all the women before me who were crazy. So crazy. You know what? It's been a day. It's been a year. It's been 9 years, 8 years, whatever it may be. Around this time, 8 years ago, it's one of the worst times of my life. That's when my life fell apart. Not because of this. Don't get too excited. Just talking about regular life stuff I talk about on here. But trust me, I understand. I've heard the message loud and clear. We all have. Now women are going to have to just refuse to participate. Sorry, if you're a man, I will not be responding to you. If you are a man, I will not be talking to you. I am going to be promoting the 4B movement from here on out. I don't care. Better scissors.
And this woman did the same. This woman also dramatically cut and shaved her head. Head shaving is part of the 4B movement, which protests the Trump election by creating a world without men. It demands women abstain from sex with men as women, abstain from childbirth, abstain from marriage, abstain from romance. This person agreed, saying women who care about women's rights should join the 4B movement.
Encourage any other women that are single and care about progressing women's rights and still fighting for our bodily autonomy to do the same. Delete your dating apps, because we can come together in community, and if you need somebody to cuddle or hold your hand or give you a kiss, I bet you one of your girlfriends would do it, okay? And you don't even have to really be gay, okay? It's okay to have a lot of platonic love for the next 4 years.
To crying and screaming in their cars.
No! Why?
Uncontrollably, to saying they'll swear off sex. I don't know why I know why people hold this of such great importance. It is the future of our nation. But if we don't let go of the meaning of it, then we can't look at it objectively. Truthfully, we attach our emotions and our personal experiences to politics, and that drives us further from the answer. We have to look at this like we have no skin in the game. I just believe that the world has changed, the landscape of everything has completely changed, and Donald Trump will end up being a good asset. In the long run. I truly believe that this will be a good outcome for our country and the world. I believe geopolitical conflicts will halt due to the rise in tariffs. I believe that the economy will flourish. I mean, at the expense of some environmental things, but some of those environmental regulations are not actually protecting the environment and only hindering the U.S. economy. If we can find some regulation for the environment or building up some sort of infrastructure to help generate clean energy, all for it. But we also have a bunch of natural oil, natural gas in the ground, fossil fuels here in America, so we don't have to buy it from anyone else. Fracking is not the best, but it could lead us to becoming so stable that we can begin to think about the infrastructure. The well-being and quality of life of the American people is at the forefront. That is the priority. I'm sorry, but for a nation, you have to make sure the nation's maintaining. And anything we do will just get undone by the huge smog cloud that comes over from China. I mean, they have a denser population and also a lot of manufacturing there. And they're not as big on the environment in the same way as we are. For people who are worried about reproductive health, I genuinely think you don't need to worry. I mean, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a political analyst. I'm not a mind reader. But I know that Donald Trump said he's leaving it up to the states, and that right should remain. It shouldn't be taken away. I don't think it will be. I think we'll be fine. And as long as nobody's legally persecuted for getting an abortion, then we really don't have to talk about this Handmaid's Tale-esque going on, okay? Kamala Harris, the thing about it is, I feel like people think that a lot of Trump supporters only voted for Trump because they like him or something. Or they think like you can get a beer with him. I disagree. I think people voted for Trump because they think it'll be a better economic outcome. A better outcome in general, but economically. People just want to be able to pay their bills at the end of the day. Okay? And I stress you, if you're having an extremely emotional response to this, to take a step back, because I'd be telling conservatives the same thing. But conservatives aren't the ones rubbing it in people's faces. That's the thing. And even, I mean, they're happy they won, but I'll put in a clip right now of liberals literally bragging, saying Donald Trump will never win.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president. He will never be president. That's my comment.
You're never going to be president of the United States.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
So, Jenny, could he actually win?
No freaking way! Oh my God!
I don't think there's any way that Donald Trump gets elected president of the United States. He may win the Republican nomination, but America is not going to vote for him.
Only in this country could a man who has declared himself bankrupt 4 times, according to some counts, is a reality show host, think that he could be president.
Do you think Donald Trump can win the nomination?
I think he could. I think he possibly could win the nomination. He cannot be president. He will never be elected president.
It is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
And I just don't understand why there's so much emotion in this. I can understand it, but dissecting it and trying to make sense of it, it's going to be okay. There will be another chance for a woman president. Like, do you really want that woman to be the first woman president, is what I have to say. Okay? Because a woman can do the job just fine, be great, but do you trust that woman specifically? Because I trust Trump more than I trust Kamala, for sure, as a person I've never met in my entire life. I mean, that's the thing about this. You don't get to sit down and actually have a conversation with any of these people. You have to go off optics. So someone could be a master manipulator and you wouldn't even know it. I mean, you could tell everyone was very desperate this election. They were gunning and gunning and gunning, and to the point where both sides made a dance to promote a political candidate. A TikTok dance. That's politics now. Yeah, you just make fucking little trends online, and that influences the state of our country. So, I mean, I'd say that's even weirder than anything, is how we've taken the political landscape and made it entertainment. It's pretty trippy. We shouldn't be getting so emotionally staked in this, truthfully. If Donald Trump would have lost, I just would have accepted Kamala as our president and gone about my business. Nothing wrong. I don't think you're a bad person if you voted for Kamala. I don't think you're a bad person if you voted for Trump. I believe you hold individualistic beliefs that you're able to express in America. Thank God. Freedom of speech. You know, right now, identity politics and censorship is scaring people. It's scaring people away. They don't want to be lectured 24/7 about how they're the worst thing that ever happened to the world. Okay?
Dictator, you voted for a bully, a bigot, and a narcissist. Even the Germans tried to warn us, but you didn't listen. You didn't listen to the historians, the psychologists, the educators, and the intellectuals. Of course not, because Dictatorship 101 is to convince you to distrust the media, the educated, and to create an us versus...
What the hell? You cannot be serious. How did I wake up to this garbage as my president? That's right, garbage. I went to bed last night and she was ahead. I woke up to this freaking nightmare. Donald Trump? How? Does America have this many Nazi, Hitler following pieces of...
Donald Trump, uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men actually voting more for him.
Those awful women and Latino men, how dare they think for themselves?
Why would they? They already feel that way. I don't want to just fly off the handle here. I want to say something that matters, and I'm just a stupid guy in this room recording a video. I got sunglasses on. Yeah. Because the thing is like, we're taking certain parts seriously. We're having these huge emotional responses going off the rails, and then in the same vein, creating political TikTok dances. It's like, where's the fucking line? And both sides did that shit, so it's not like, oh, the liberals are doing. Fucking conservatives made a dance too, made a trend. And had celebrities at both national conventions. Had Tony Hinchcliffe, one of the most explicit comedians, as a speaker, as a prominent speaker in the convention. Is just crazy. No filter. That's how he is. You hired Tony Hinchcliffe. I mean, good on Tony Hinchcliffe for just keeping with it and not trying to go. I love that shit. Just go full comedy. Who gives a fuck? Because it's all a joke at the end of the day. None of this matters. We can't affect anything. That's the thing. We can influence shit, but at the end of the day, you cannot, on your lonesome, dictate reality. can dictate your perception, you can dictate your effort, but you can't dictate reality past manifestation. Okay? You can manifest all you want, but that's the end of the line. If you don't put in the energy, the positivity, the focus into manifesting something, then you won't create real world actions that cascade into the goal that you want. This being said, we should look at politics with a stoic mindset. This doesn't matter because we can't change it. We should look at a lot of life like that, but specifically with politics. You do what you can, you fight for what's right, you make an informed decision. That's all you can do. I don't believe the left will be too accepting of Donald Trump. Whichever side wins, the other side's always going to reject the president. I see it more often with the left, but the conservatives did it with Joe Biden as well. And I think they did it with Barack Obama. I was a little too young for that, so I wasn't there personally, couldn't speak to it, only history and what I remember. And then, back to the convention thing, having Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B come out to the Democratic National Convention.
Somebody, this is your girl Megan Thee Stallion, aka the Hot Girl Coach, reporting live with the future president of the United States.
Second, guys, 1 second. Okay, so I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys. I need patience over here. Patience, where are you, girl? Thank you.
But you know what? You know what? We should be emotional. We should be upset. We should be scared and outraged. We should. Our pain matters. We matter. You matter.
I have no problems with rappers being invested in politics. I think it's good because they represent regular people, or, before they had money, like they represented normal people. And they have something to give. They have a perspective to give. But I believe that they're only used as pawns in the game. They had Megan twerking up there. They had Cardi B basically reading off everything she was going to say, which is fine. Sometimes you need a telemarketer to keep on your mark. I understand that. But when you hear her talk, it's like all Cardi, or you can tell it isn't Cardi. And I would like to get to a middle ground where Cardi's talking about political issues very seriously. But, look, here I am with sunglasses on talking about it in my fucking room in the fucking stew, okay? So I have no authority to tell anyone that they shouldn't be involved in politics, and I'm not saying that. It's interesting how they prop celebrities up for the Democratic stuff, They had the Avengers doing the endorsement. Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala as well. I believe Elon Musk, he was in favor of Trump, made that known. Most of the Republicans weren't actual, famous celebrities beforehand. So it means nothing that they were there. I'm just saying that it's how they were there, essentially. It's not really a problem. I just think it's an interesting thing to dissect. Why we're gonna just like parade Lil Jon and Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion around and not have them really talk about the issues that they care about deeply, but give some bullet points, a quick little statement that someone pre-prepared for them. It's fine to pre-prepare, get ready, I understand, but it's just, I don't see enough of them in it. It seems like them being used by a political machine. And while the opposite in Trump, I mean, no one was incentivized to endorse Trump. That's the thing. So everybody who did incentivize or who endorsed Trump did it because they thought it was the best outcome. Because nobody's giving you, hero points for voting for the Cheeto. They're not. That's not what's happening. We're gonna be okay. It's fine. It really is. A Democratic candidate will come back around. I believe it'll be fine. To the girls shaving their heads and crying hysterically, saying they won't have sex again. We'll see how long that lasts. Maybe it's good for you. Cutting off of drugs, cutting off of sex, cutting off of social media, anything that's like a vice, gambling, is good for you. Take it from somebody who has many vices. Detaching from those is good. So if you want to not have sex, then maybe that's a good thing for you. Help you find, pretty good husband too. Thing is, like, a lot of guys aren't having sex, so that kind of means nothing to them. None of them are getting laid anyway. I think it's crazy. It feels like we skipped Easter this year. Completely ran over it. Didn't even celebrate it at all. I saw a few people noticing that. All right, so I got to give a shout out to our Lord and Savior. This one's for you, JC. For real though, just like so caught up in the world, completely forgot about the sacrifice of Christ. It's been a year for everybody, I'm sure, because I've gone through things, and in the grand scheme of things, fucking nothing. And I know people have lost family members due to Helene, and my condolences go out to you if you're struggling to recover from Helene. I hope FEMA does you right, doesn't put you into a re-education camp. I really hope you get some relief, and hopefully your community is supporting you it's been a couple of weeks, so some places are pretty much cleaned up, but this is getting out pretty late. I just wanted to say I'm sorry if you lost anyone or were injured or had any losses at all in Helene. It's an awful, awful tragedy. I feel like if we got a little bit more of a warning, maybe, at least South Carolina could have evacuated. A lot of other governors evacuated for it, and it was beneficial to the population. I want to get off all the political shit, so I'm gonna sum it up. I'm thinking. You can hear it. You can smell the bacon cooking. You can hear the wheels are turning. So what I'm gonna leave off on that topic is saying, none of it matters. Don't abandon your family members for politics. It'll never be more important than family. These are just ideas that have been manifested into the physical realm. They don't matter. They matter in the way they can affect things, but once you do your part, you can't go past that. So there's no reason to have an emotional response or be connected to people who don't even know you exist. I love you. Whoever you are, I voted for Kamala, Trump. You wrote in Bernie for some reason. I love you. And I don't judge you for any decision that you made, because that's the decision you felt was best. We need more of that. I wish we could vote bipartisan. I wish it was more than a two-party system. But that's what we got. That's what we got. Moving on to sad news as well, but a little bit less politically, is unfortunately there was a man whose pet squirrel was... So let me give you the rundown. There's this guy on TikTok. I'll put his name right here. Sorry for not remembering it. He had a pet squirrel that he had rescued from the outside, that he developed a very close connection with him and I believe his fiance. They also had a pet raccoon. And the squirrel named Peanut developed kind of a following online through his TikTok page. People would tune in to see Peanut, and they got really, really invested in him. He was a cute squirrel. He had trained him to do all these tricks. They would hang out together all the time. It was almost, it's like symbiotic. I don't want to say symbiotic, but very cohesive relationship. Bonded with this animal. It was a beloved, you know what I mean, a family member. And wildlife went in there due to anonymous complaints and euthanized the squirrel and the raccoon with little reasoning as to why. There was an investigation being done, and people were so up in arms about it that they actually did BOMB threats to the police station that was doing the investigation. They actually said there would be multiple BOMBs planted throughout the area if this wasn't taken care of. There still hasn't been a real resolution about it. It is very tragic. I'll put a picture of Peanut up on the screen right now. He's just such a cute squirrel, and not only did they bond with him normally, but think about the bonding process of them nurturing this squirrel back to life. The kind of connection you develop with anything, but especially a living thing. That's the only thing you develop, a connection. When you take on that nurturing, caring role, you're almost like its parent. And for you to come in and kill the furry equivalent of someone's child, I know it's not the same thing because it's not your biological child. It's not adopted child. It's not your child, but it is. You nurtured, cared for it, loved it, disciplined it, gave everything you are to it. And someone comes in and just offset, just puts it down like it's nothing, like it's another day on there. Another thing on their itinerary for the day. You know, it's kind of sick, to be honest. And not in a good way. I mean, like, twisted. Really fucked. I just think the only funny thing is the emotional, like, I talked about emotional responses, but this one would warrant, this squirrel was so damn cute. Maybe not BOMB threats, but actually maybe complaints in general would have done the trick, but that sure lit a fire under their ass. I'll try to update you on that as that develops. There's been no real conclusion to it. Also, there has been developments with imaging of a neighboring planet where they can't tell if there is light emanating from the neighboring planet named Proxima B. They can't tell if because it's when the sun is in rotation. So it's when it was dark, right? I'll put up a picture right now. You see how it's dark and there is light there, but they can't determine what that light is. So it's not definitively proof of an alien civilization on another planet. It could be an imaging problem. So that's not definitive. I just think it's cool. We're seeing light through a telescope of a planet. And if theoretical astrophysics is correct, then if we're looking at it now, and it actually was a small amount of light from a developing civilization, then that would mean right now on the other side, through that distance, that would be a completely developed planet, maybe a type 2 civilization, because of the space-time and how it behaves. It's really interesting. I'd say that's the best thing about Trump, right? Is he's gonna declassify some documents. We got MLK, we got JFK, 9/11, the Diddy case. He's trying to go all in, declassify everything. Aliens, he's trying to declassify that. Let us hear what a lot of these Air Force pilots were trying to tell us, but we only got little snippets of in the news. That's huge, you know. You don't have to like him, but you gotta admit, releasing information to the public, what is more American than that? What is more democratic and for the people than that? Because information is a weapon. It's a commodity this day and age. It can be used in a multitude of ways, and I think that putting that power in the people is a very, very good thing. We'll just have to see. He gets sworn in on the 6th. We'll see how it goes. Sorry Paris isn't here. I know you miss her. She had some things to take care of. So I figured I'd just hit this one by myself. Plus, I ramble a lot, and if Paris was here, we'd end up talking about this for an hour and have a really good conversation, but I just wanted to get to the meat of it. And also, editing is going to be a bitch, so, you know, the shorter the better. But, yeah, I mean, you can make a drinking game out of how many times I say but, or yeah. You'd be fucking wasted by the end of one of these videos. I ramble a lot. That's what it is. I'm trying to get on a better schedule for you guys. I say that every single episode. I know. But it's an ongoing process, and I'm trying to make these videos as entertaining as possible without just a bunch of fluff, right? And schedules are conflicting constantly. I want Paris to be a part of it. And she wants to be trying to get us in the same place at the same time, where we want to work. Because the thing is, we have jobs outside of this, we have things we do, and trying to make priorities for it. This wasn't a super entertaining episode. I know it was a lot of information, you know, for a comedy podcast. Wasn't funny at all. But I wanted to make it because I know there's people who just want to have an objective layout of everything that's happened. There's people who have tried to navigate the political landscape and not immerse themselves in it, not be obsessed with it. And that's what I wanted to do this for, be it just objectively say the talking points of what happened in the election so you can know that. Tell you what happened to Peanut the squirrel. And yeah, just bring some clarity to a lot of situations. Not a lot of focus. Ironic because I'm on Adderall. Prescribed. But let's bring in my next guest. so. Gotta be boss, show some. I'm zooming this shit. It's gonna be okay. It doesn't matter. Love your family. Let go. Just sit back and watch what happens.